Hey everybody, it's Jamie from the Marine Doctor's YouTube channel, and today I've got a story for you. It's a story about an engine that I couldn't fix and a whole bunch of coincidences that, well, came about that actually ended up getting it fixed. So as you guys know, I'm a Merc tech and I dabble in Johnson and Evinrude, and as of late I've had to work on Etec and fixed engines. So I've been slowly learning about those engines, and the Johnson Evinrude stuff I've dealt with for years and been self-taught on majority of that stuff. But these Etecs, although they've been on the market for a long time and Fichte even longer, I don't know a whole bunch about them. But I do have the software from, is it called Meds, I think is what it's called. And that's what I use to diagnose some of the issues with these engines when they come in. So the other day, a 90 horsepower engine came in, and I explained to the customer, same thing that I just said to you guys, which I'll reiterate right now, is I don't have a lot of experience. Some things I can and can't do on the engines, and sometimes I end up having to turn them away to the marine dealer up the block, who's a Bombardier dealer, for them to finish up. So I can't assign ignition coils or things like that in order to get these engines up and running for them. So he said, yeah, you know what, that's fine. See if you can figure out. He's dealt with me for years with his other boats, and he's confident that I can figure this out for him. So what was happening was at low and high speeds, he would get a beep, and then it would shift into slow mode, or SLOW, and that's their guardian mode to protect the engine from damage. All right, fine. I take it out back, I put it on my computer, I run it up, and sure enough, I'm getting system voltage errors. So system voltage was too low and system voltage is too high. So I explained to the customer, I said, okay, this is what's happening. I believe that the problem is going to be your EMM, or ECU for other people, so they have an idea of what an EMM is. And it regulates the current that is being sent out to some of the components, and it works on a 55 volt system, which, granted, I know nothing about, but have since learned that that's what these operate with, as well as 12 volts. I'm used to using 12 and 5 volts is what I typically see on the Mercury stuff that I work on. So I get them on the phone, and I say, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to take it up to the block. I'll call them ahead of time, and I'll let them know what I found, and they can hopefully help you out. And in the meantime, while I was running the engine, I also noted to him that at times when I was turning it over, there was a click, almost like a stutter, where the Bendix would maybe kick out of the flywheel, but the engine itself would lightly shake, which was kind of strange, but I thought I would mention it to him, just in case. I didn't reiterate this to the guys up the block. I just sent a message and said, hey, I'm sending this guy up the block. I believe he needs an EMM. Can you guys help him out? And they have used ones over there, and they could put it in place and see if they can get this guy's engine to work. So he takes it over there, and he gives me a call later, and he says, okay, this is what they told me. They told me that I most likely need a $3,000 EMM to be put on this so that I can get back on the water. And he also said that they took and they put a used one on, but the used one they had did the same thing. Okay, well, fine. Well, maybe the used one is damaged too. You never know. But he didn't want to spend the $3,000 in order to get this fixed. Now, this is where we start jumping around a little bit with the story. Had another customer come in, and he had a voltage regulator problem on his 90 horsepower, I believe, Johnson. And the particular voltage regulator he needs, when I looked it up, so I was going to put an aftermarket one in for him from CDI, there was a note at the bottom saying you can't use dry cell or AGM batteries with this voltage regulator. So then I got to thinking, this was after he had showed up. This new boat was a new problem. Okay, different boat. After I'd sent the other one away, so I got to thinking, you know what? In that Etec, he's running an AGM battery. Maybe that has something to do with the problem. So in the meantime, another boat shows up, and it's a Fichte engine, and the Fichte engine has no spark. So I get a hold of the guys down in, I think it was Kansas, and I said, hey, this is what I need. And it was explained to me that anything older than 2010, I should wash my fingerprints off the hood and never touch again. That's how hard this guy was on Etec and Fichte. But I explained to him this other problem that I was having with the system voltage. And I said, well, is this an EMM that I can send down to you so that you can repair it, and for maybe $600 US versus the $3,000 that they want to charge him up here? And he says, no, I can't fix that. He says it's got to be replaced. And then of course he went into a spiel about how you should never work on them anyway. Okay. Anyway, so with talking to him and learning some stuff from him, not as much about the batteries, but just the fact that there are issues with these EMMs that pop up when the customer, later on that day, the customer phones me. It's the same customer that owns the Etec that was here, the 90 with the EMM problem. He phones me up and he says, yeah, they're telling me I need a new gear case now, and they'll sell me a rebuilt one for $3,500. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, yeah, they said it's got a chipped tooth. The chipped tooth, that's probably what we were hearing when it was being spun over. So, yep, you likely do. But he says, well, can you help me out? Can you get me one for cheaper? And I said, well, yeah, I can sell you a brand new one, an aftermarket one for like $2,900 with 3-year warranty, no fault warranty from Stern Drive Engineering. He says, oh, well, let's do it. He says, let's get it on order. I said, well, what about your other problem? It's not fixed. He says, don't worry about it. I've used it like this for a long time already. I'll just turn it off, restart it, and slow mode goes away. So I get the case on order, and we rush it up here to Canada because he wanted to be out for Friday. So this was, I think, on a Tuesday. So we get the case here on Thursday. I take his old case apart because it's finally showing back up, and lo and behold, he needs a drive shaft too, and I didn't order a drive shaft. His drive shaft was twisted down by the pinion. So I pop it out, I'd already popped it out, sorry guys. I phone him up and I tell him, okay, we need to get a drive shaft. We ordered it up from the States. I can't do your Friday thing for you, it's too late. So Monday comes, and I quickly throw it together so that he can get some of his holidays in with his family. And while he's here, I said, Kate, I've done some research. I've talked to people about EMMs. I got some more information, and I think maybe I can help you. I know I couldn't help you before, but I want to help you with this. And I got to back up. Sorry, guys, I missed this. This is a really important thing. When he left here, I didn't charge him anything. I sent him up the block with no charge. When he got that information at the other place where they had swapped out his EMM, they couldn't fix his engine. They even put that used gear case onto his engine without his permission. They charged him $800 to do that. And he never gave him authorization to do any of that stuff. Sorry, I apologize, I missed that from before. So I haven't charged him anything for the work that I've done because I couldn't fix it, and that's just the way I am. I feel that's what I need to do as a business and representing myself as a person. That's just what I do. And anyway, he comes back and I said, I did some research. I think I got this. I think I know what it is. Let's pull that AGM battery out because, reverting back to that other engine, some regulators don't like AGM or dry cell batteries. Let's take it out. I'll put my shop battery in there. You take it out for the weekend, and you let me know what you need to do. So he's fine. Yeah, let's do it. So I put his aside. I put my shop battery in because I'd actually ran it here when it came back after we put the new drive on, and I didn't get those system voltage errors. So the engine didn't go into slow for me when it was here. So he takes it out to the lake, and then on the following Monday he shows up, and he says, "I'm here to buy a battery." What? He says, yeah. I went for 5 hours out in the water because I was doing the break-in on the engine, running various throttle settings and stuff like that, and tickety-boo, no problems. He said it did it twice near the end of the day at the launch, but outside of that, it ran flawlessly the whole day. It's like, whoa, that's great. So I upgraded them to 1150 marine cranking amp battery instead of the 500 I sent him out with, which should hold up better, I hope. And while he was here, this was a very rewarding experience for me because we get tips and things like that on occasion, or people appreciate our work and they say thank you, and that's fine. That's fine is thank you. But he hands me an envelope, and in the envelope was a thank you and a $250 gift card to the Keg. So the Keg is a restaurant, like a steakhouse kind of thing. And there were 2 other gift cards, and I read them as shoppers, like shoppers, the drugstore kind of place where you can buy, I don't know, what, milk, chocolate bars, accessories, anything, whatever Shoppers sells. And that's what I kind of read it as, because that's where I saw that it was from. So I take these gift cards and I go home and I'm like to my wife and said, okay, here's the one for the keg, you know, $250, and here's these ones for Shoppers. And she says, well, great, we need to go and buy milk, she says. So she grabs it and she notes, yeah, this isn't for Shoppers. Oh, what do you mean? It's for Golf Town, she says. Oh? Well, that's even better, I said, because I golf and I've got my sim inside the shop that we play on over the winter, so that's great. And I think one of the things that really got me with this, and this was really cool, was the fact that he gave us a tip, which is fantastic. 100%. I'm very grateful of that. But he took the time to do something personal as well. And that really touched me. So I need to make a phone call today and thank him on a more personal level, because I did thank him when he was here under the understanding that it was from Shoppers. It wasn't it wasn't from Golf Town, and that he actually took and he knew me, and it was a personal gift that he gave me, and that just blew me away. It literally blew me away. Like we get people, they'll bring us donuts and things like that, which is fantastic and appreciated, even though I eat gluten-free, but I still appreciate the effort. But this was really touching and heartwarming and rewarding. And with that, I'll end the show, and I'll see you guys in the next video.